My name is Dr. Sam, and I teach over at Grove City College, which is about an hour north of Pittsburgh. I am a professor of education, so I get to teach future educators all about ed tech and special education. It's a lot of fun working with aspiring educators, and I see some in the crowd today, so hello. I'm the author of EduMagic, a guide for pre-service teachers, co-author of EduMagic Shine On, a guide for new teachers, and host of the EduMagic podcast. If you notice, a little theme going there, all about supporting our new and future educators now more than ever. Then I have a little freebie. You'll see that at the end of today's presentation as well. If you would like to head on over to bit.ly/DEC Agenda 20. And you guys can grab that December calendar to help you finish that semester strong, just like educators of excellence. So today we're going to be talking about some best practices in online learning. We're going to talk about what comes first before we even think about the content. We're going to talk about best practices when it comes to designing online content. And then we're going to talk about some ed tech tools to help you get there. So we know as student teachers, if you already student taught or if you're going to be student teaching, everything begins and ends with relationship building. We know that relationships are number one, and then content comes second. So it's all about maintaining, developing, cultivating those relationships with your students, getting to know them as individual people in your class so you can best reach and teach them. It goes beyond that student interest survey that you send out that first day of class or the first week of school. And getting to know your students and building those relationships is something that doesn't end during the first week. It's something that keeps going and growing as we continue to teach our students. So just through informal conversations and meeting them where they are, using technology in new ways to help support and get to know them. So for example, you can use something like a Padlet like we have here listed in our chat. So you can have that Padlet going and have students share ideas, and they can upvote or like or comment on other people's posts. So one thing I love to have whenever I start my classes is I have music playing. Now, since the beginning of November, I have been playing some holiday music. There has been some backlash. That is also a heated discussion, but I have music playing. It's a welcoming space. As they come in, I am greeting them with a, hey, how's it going? Great to see you here. So glad you're joining us today. If they come in late, I still give them a shout out. Hey, Tiffany, it's awesome to see you in today's class. Excited to learn alongside with you. And then I also usually have something on the screen for them to do. So today was something I saw on Instagram, a gobblegram, and I thought that was just adorable. So I had to do that too. Share something that you're thankful and grateful for. And a lot of students share that they're thankful for health, family, friends, all that stuff. So, and it's great to connect with them and build upon what they're saying and have them make connections between what other students were saying in the chat. It's also very important to keep those lines of communication open with our student, continue to build those relationships with them, even if we're not in a traditional learning space. And I don't like to say face-to-face learning space because I still feel like even though we're virtual, we are face-to-face. So I like to say traditional learning spaces. So when we come to communicating with students in the online space, that could look a little tricky. So one strategy that I love to do is I have a direct message with every single student in my class in our Microsoft Teams chat. So I have a direct message with each of them. And every Friday, I send them an encouraging word or a fun YouTube video. Like last week, Kid President had 25 things to be thankful for. My favorite things on the list was cake and paw pads, like kitty paw pads. I thought that was just cute. So I shared that out with them, said, hey, what are you thankful for? I know I'm really thankful to have you as a student in my class, and I appreciate all the hard work you've been doing this semester. And just letting them know that they're seen, valued, appreciated, and heard really goes a long way. Also, during this semester, I wrote out notes to every student and put them in their mailboxes on campus. The notes that I used were recycled plant paper. So with paper with seeds like sewn into them. I don't know how they did it, but it was on Amazon and I had to buy it. And it was just little notebook paper. And I wrote on the note, I wrote on there, I'm rooting for you. I can't wait to see you blossom as a teacher, all those things, and put them in their mailboxes. And it was just great. Everybody loves to get mail. And it just shows that you're setting that positive tone and building that relationship with them. I also love setting up office hours with students. This has been so helpful for students struggling with some technology or logging in or creating something. It's like, instead of chatting me or emailing me, let's just set up a quick meeting on Teams. We can share screens. I can hear your voice. We can explain it. I can even take control of the mouse in Teams and help direct you to where you need to be. So setting up virtual office hours has been amazing for my students, having them be consistent office hours throughout the week, or just pop-ins, as they need them. So again, building those relationships and using small groups during class. I know when in a traditional learning space, I am all about those, oh, get with a partner and we'll chat about it. Can't do that in a virtual space like that, but you can do small group chats. You can do breakout rooms depending on what technology that you're using. That way they're building relationships with each other, and you can get to know them more individually when they're working in their small groups. You can go into those chats or hop into those breakout rooms and just listen to the conversation, add to it, challenge them, ask them questions, answer the questions where there might be some misconceptions, and be able to be there as a guide on the side. I also enjoy letting them take collaborative notes during class. In Microsoft Teams, there's a collaborative notes tab. They can also do that through OneNote, Google Docs, or Jamboard, which is something new that we started this year, where each student got their own slide. I don't, frame on Jamboard. They got their own frame on Jamboard, and they documented their learning on there through sticky notes and through pictures. So that was also a great way for them to see what others were thinking and what other ideas they had. In addition to their own, so they can continue to build upon the information in that activity. All right, and it's also all about flexibility, and this is also what we're going to be talking about. This kind of goes into some best practices for designing online learning. For example, rethinking our traditional activities for that online learner. And this is something that we can do very easily with some of the tech tools I'm going to show you today. So if you have a pile of PDFs sitting right beside you or worksheets that you have, keep them, because I'm going to show you two really easy tools that you can use to convert those PDFs into interactive worksheets, saving you tons of teacher time and less stress for everybody. So it's really important whenever we're designing online learning is that we're chunking that content. We're giving them little bits of information, having them do something with it. Little bits of information, having them do something with it. And the overall best practice for chunking that information is like 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes max. Have them listen to a podcast, listen to a video, listen to a lecture, then have them do something, apply that knowledge. Maybe they're working on a Padlet, or maybe they're doing a Jamboard, or maybe they're responding in a Flipgrid, whatever it might be. Allow them to do something with that content so you can see what they're learning about. Make sure you're making those teaching decisions based on that data, and then teaching more content and then having them do something. So it's kind of a repetitive process there. Adding in engaging checks for understanding. So I know some very popular tools around this time is Nearpod and Pear Deck. Those are very popular, great engaging tools to do checks for understanding, formative assessments along the way. You can just upload your presentations, PDFs, PowerPoints, images, all sorts of things right into those tools, and then embed engagement as needed. Thumbs up, thumbs down, drawing activities, fill in the blank, virtual field trips, have them go out to link somewhere. So there's lots of different ways you can check for understanding using technology. Those two tools I'm not showing you today. If you want more information about them, please just DM me over on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll send that your way. Giving students authenticity, choice, and voice, no matter what classroom space we're teaching in, needs to be number one. So for example, giving them multiple ways to show what they know, allowing them to create a Flipgrid, a video, a podcast, write a paper, create a test, whatever it might be, for having them show what they know in really creative ways, and allowing them to choose how they show what they're learning. So let's talk about some best practices when it comes to designing the online space. When it comes to videos, again, going back to that chunking content concept, we want to make sure the videos are short, no more than 10 minutes max. And that's like max for adult learner. Making sure that there's captions available and transcriptions for our students who need access um, to those pieces from a screen reader, or they can also have the captions go across. And like you, if you came in a little bit earlier, you might have seen the slideshow go across with live captions and subtitles. That is something that you can do right within PowerPoint. YouTube also does captions for the content as well. And when you're posting these videos for students to watch, if you're allowing them to watch this video and then come on back to the large group and we'll chat about it, post it in multiple places across the LMS. So post it in the assignment, post it in a channel or announcements, but give them context as to why they're watching the video, what they should be looking for when it comes to viewing the video. So let them know, hey, I want you to watch this 6-minute video and I want you to give me 3 bullet points. What are some specific accommodations you saw in that video that relates to class? And then they come back to our large group. We talk about, okay, what accommodations did you find, Lisa? And what accommodations did you find, Michael? Let's talk about those. Why do you define those as accommodations? So allowing them to do a little bit of information with the video and then applying that knowledge. When it comes to audio, I think audio is a really cool way to flip learning. So you're not just giving them video after video to watch, because with audio, they can listen to it on the go. So they can work out, they can do some laundry, they can do the dishes, and they can also listen to it at different speeds, which is great. So they can increase that speed, slow the speed down, pause, replay, go back, those types of things. And just like with the video pieces, we want to make sure we have transcripts available of the audio. So if students need that for their screen reader, they have that available. We don't want to post a 30-minute podcast. Instead, maybe we want to do sound bites or little clips of it and giving them context and posting across different places so they can find it in different places, about why they're listening and what they should be listening for. Similar to the video example, all right, go listen to this snippet about creating digital portfolios, and I want you to come back. We're going to talk about the why. Why do we need to create a digital portfolio as a student teacher? And then we can talk about that. So if you're in a 50-minute class, you don't have to be lecturing that whole time. That is not a best practice. You can allow them to go out and then come back at a certain time, be ready to share and chat, or if you're feeling brave, turn on your mic, those types of things with our students. So giving them different ways to interact with the content. All right, next up, we have pictures, diagrams, GIFs, or GIFs, however you want to say it. Again, best practice, providing content as to what they're looking at, why they're looking at this table or this graph. What are some things you notice? What are some things we should be looking at when it comes to this table or whatever you're having them look at? Give them some context as to the why and the what they should be looking for. We know that a picture can really give more information sometimes than a block of text. So giving them that picture, allowing them to explore it, could be really helpful when it comes to learning new content or for reviewing content as well. When we're using our images, it's so important to use alt text. And in tools like Microsoft PowerPoint and in Word, they have an accessibility checker that you can click on, and it'll check your Word doc or check your PowerPoint for accessibility and let you know if you have alt text on your images or graphs. Because with alt text, a screen reader can then go through and read the description of the image. Instead of having a picture on there and it says image 1, 2, 3, 4, it could say girls sipping pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. And then, they can keep going and read the content. So it's really important to have that alt text. And when we're using images, we want to be good digital citizens. So we need to use copyright-free images. My favorite place to find copyright-free images is Unsplash. It truly is a great resource there to find copyright-free images. You can just download Pixabay and Pexels, same thing. You can download those images and use them across websites, PowerPoints, presentations, all that jazz. And then text, I like to keep the best practice of 6 and 6, no more than 6 bullet points with 6 words across. If you can say it in an image, say it in an image or a diagram or a graphic of some sort. So these are also some best practices when it comes to designing some slides, making sure that there's contrast between your text and your background. For our students who may have some visual impairments is also a great resource, because when we're designing content, we want to design for all in mind and not have to make all these changes at the end. So think about what are some best practices for universal design when it comes to creating our content for our students. All right, so web conferencing. So something like this, or maybe Google Meets or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, something that's meeting synchronously, meeting at the same time. So we want to make sure that there's options for annotation or screen sharing or webcam, or I mean whiteboard. So something like that, whereas it looks where you can draw on the whiteboard, students can draw on the whiteboard, and there's options like that for Jamboard, and Microsoft has one as well called Microsoft Whiteboard that you can use within a Teams meeting. Something that students can annotate and draw on. They can also do that within OneNote. If you wanted to give them a OneNote page, they can annotate, draw out their notes, write out their notes, those types of things. Allowing for recorded options. So for students who can't make it live, they can always listen to the recording and watch the recording. Allowing for captioning. So PowerPoint does this under subtitles. You can select subtitles, have it do subtitles in English. You can also have it translate across different languages. So as you're speaking live in English, it'll translate along the bottom to German or Greek or whatever. So that's a pretty cool option. And in Teams, Microsoft Teams, there's a drop down button called Turn on Live Captioning, which is available as well. So having those options for accessibility to help everybody in the classroom, because let's be honest, sometimes if somebody's talking for a while, we can, think about other things. We might miss something, but having the text read aloud could be really helpful. And also for internet that goes in and out. Collaborative notes, we talked about that already. Screen sharing, great option for the teacher to share their screen, students to share their screen, show what they know, show what they created. So today in class, we did the hour of code. Well, it's more like 20 minutes of code. And we also celebrated a little early, but we were able to show our screen and share, hey, I did Elsa and Anna's ice skating. You're able to show us what you made in codes, which is really neat. Allowing for things like webcams, small group spaces, so you can break students out into groups and bring them all back in. Also having options for chat too. All right, so we know that technology truly can make the impossible possible for our students. We talked about some accessibility options for our students with special needs, but we really do need to design with everybody in mind when it comes to online learning. So just give me a moment. I'm going to switch my screen sharing and head on over. I'm going to show you TeacherMade first. So TeacherMade, and I'm going to drop the link in our large group chat so you can follow along with me. It's an app and a site, and I learned about this tool from a colleague of mine, Derek Whitmer. Shout out to Derek. He's over on Instagram, Mr. Whitmer22, I believe. And he showed me this tool, and he said, Sam, if you have PDFs or if you want students to do something on a PDF and you don't know how to like turn it into an interactive worksheet, this does it for you. So let me show you what it does. So here is my example, and I'm going to preview it. This is something I just grabbed for free off of Teachers Pay Teachers. You can grab whatever resource you would like if you'd like to come along with me over here. So you can go in, here's the reading that they have to do. They're reading all about polar bears, and here's our response. So it looks like a typical worksheet, right? From here, I can add in different types of questions for my students. This is what my students would see. They have options to highlight right here on the page. They have options to write in their answers. They can take notes. They can draw and create on here. If they need to write out notes, they can. All right, so Class Kick is really interesting. What I like about it is you can use that traditional learning space. You can see here we can add in links, we can add in text. Students can go in, they can use the text option, they can use graphics to put in their answers. Let's see, here we go. They can highlight the pieces as well right within here. So I can go in, I can get my highlighter, and I can highlight on the PDF. I can do manipulative. So this is neat if you're having students sort items, maybe living and non-living things. They can sort things. This one spells out a word, so they can, move things around that way. Um, they can insert a voice recording, so they can record their own voices reading aloud or saying the spelling words. And they can also insert pictures. So this is and they can do some other assessments as well, some multiple choice assessments too. You can change up the background, add pictures, links, and send that off to your students to access to see what they know. You can assign the work and view their progress thus far. You can give points to each page, each slide, each activity. And yeah, so that's a really nice way to assess student learning, saving you some teacher time. You can put in those PDFs if you would like to. One of my colleagues, he uses this tool for students to do their spelling words and their reading vocabulary words. So he'll have them sort the letters into the correct way it's spelled. He has audio instructions, so they don't see it. And then they also say the word using the insert audio key. He can give stickers and grade for work as well. And I saw in the chat, what's a good collaboration tool? I would have to say Wakelet is a great collaboration tool. I've used it with my students twice now in different classes. And one thing that I did was an edtech tool, Smackdown, and special education law. So with a Wakelet, it's great for curating content and creating content. So for you as the teacher to have stuff ready to go for students to review, or for the students to show what they know in different ways, they can create a collection. Very easy to do. You just go in, you enter a title. Let's see here. And this green plus sign is your best friend. You can add in URLs, throw in some text, not as fancy as Word, but you can do like bullet points and stuff like that. Throw in YouTube videos, grab some tweets, pop in an image, or you can search from their library, which looks through copyright-free images. Upload a PDF if you want them to review it. You can even grab links from Class Kick or Teacher Made into here, so you can give them some content and then have them go into Class Kick or Teacher Made and do the assignment. Give them some more content, grab a Flipgrid video, have them respond that way, and then you can have it talk to your OneDrive or Google Drive. What's neat about this is it allows for collaborators. So here I can send a link to my students and they can collaborate and create one Wakelet together, or they can during class, or they can do one on their own. So here's one that we did as a class, the Fall 2020 EdTech Smackdown. And all I did was give them some instructions. So they looked at Common Sense Media and they had to find some resources that we haven't reviewed yet in class. And here they have their Wakelet. You can see the students who put in their examples. They have pictures, links, and little descriptions of their resources that they found. So Wakelet is a great one for collaboration, for students to collaborate on a project on a specific topic. So I hope that answered your question. And then the last one I want to show you is Wiser. This has a library of resources, but when I go into here, I can go in and I can see what other people have created. So I might want to check this one out: fractions, decimals, and percentages. I'll think for a minute here. I can have videos embedded within my Wiser. I can have a graphic here, fill in the blank, sorting, sorting activities, multiple choice. And some of these these questions will auto grade depending on what you like. Multiple choice and the matching, they can grade, will auto grade by itself. I'm not really reading these, so we'll just go like this. And then as the teacher is saving you some teacher time, it'll auto grade some of them for you, like short answer or long answer response. Obviously, it won't grade it for you, but Wiser does save you some teacher time, and the design work is done really well. They also have options within Wiser to have the instructions read aloud for students who might need that option. And you can do some UDL embedded within here too, differentiated instruction. So you can set up different types of questions and it'll go to different students depending on how you group your students. There's lots of different ways you can add in content. So we have open response, fill in an image, like labeling an image, a link, a video, drawing, sorting, reflection, discussion, all sorts of different things you can have students do to show what they know. And I'll open up our questions bar. Which digital tool is best for online collaborative work? Yeah, so I think it depends. I like Wakelet. I think OneNote is also really good at collaboration. Jamboard is great too. Padlet, like we have here for our example. Let's see, Google Docs, obviously. So hopefully that helps with some ideas for collaboration. Um, yeah, UDL principles. I love this accommodation. Um, coffee is my only accommodation. I think that's great. Let's see. Flickr. Oh, yes, it's great for copyright-free images. Thank you, Lisa. That's a great one. Oh, good. I'm glad I answered. So much fun. All right, friends, it's 2:30. I'm going to be respectful of your time. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned a little something today, and I will see you guys next week. Have a fabulous week. Stay safe, stay healthy.